Yeah. So we're doing event monitoring. We did the event monitoring analytics app, but we on, and then I was going through event monitoring. So I think study those learning objectives. Where's event monitoring? Oh yeah, module 2, query ELF. Get out of here. I'm gonna put some learning objectives up there real quick because I look, I want to make sure you get the right strategy. I'm also gonna let's see. So I got these 3 guys. Module 1. I'm gonna go back a little bit on this one and just go back and say, all right, do that. So get started with event monitoring. All right, we're in event monitoring. I'm gonna get started with event monitoring. So that's this one. And those are resources that were in there that I will be mad about if we ever have to use them. These are my learning objectives. I'm going to take and put my learning objectives in there. So this is what I just taught my class. I figured I might as well start demonstrating it. So those are my learning objectives, right? So those are things you ought to know. And then what you can do with them later is on your own. And then, yeah, that's the first one. And then this is other resources that were available in that particular, nope, we're gonna go back. Okay, so those are the notes. And I'm gonna go back to get started with event monitoring, query event log files, because all you gotta do is know the learning objectives. You don't have to do everything. You need to know what you're doing. But, right, so we learned about that ELF browser. That is an evil ELF. That's module 2, query event log files. I'm going to put my learning objectives in here. And then I'm going to take this guy out. And I'm going to take out the bold. And I'm going to take out that. I don't need that. These are my learning objectives at the top. And I'm going to go to my next one, just so I have a document that's actually just clean and up to date. We spent way too much time on it already. Down, you'll be able, no, you won't. You won't be able to do any of this. This is BS. I mean, it can be done. I did it back in March, but I'm not doing it again. These are the things you should be able to do and understand as a result of this learning objective. So there you go. Curl or Python, it supposedly works. We'll get it. An event monitoring app, I did each one. I just didn't put in the link to it in the doc. But my last module is add more data to analytics dashboard. Let's see if I got my learning objectives. Yeah, I don't need all of this. Who's that? Who's that noisemaker? Oh, perfect. You guys walking. So I'm good with that. And that is the learning objective format. And the only thing I didn't do was finish last module, which I'm going to finish now once I get my notes squared away, as a way to, you know, whatever. I don't need to have those I don't care about the links to those other modules. Let's just get this sucker done. Reports and dashboards aren't the only dashboards. Turbocharger data set with more data. Yeah, Analytics Studio, awesome. We did data set, I think. Fortify your account data set. I was trying to actually go through these exercises and I couldn't get it done. That's what pissed me off here. Like I went through it and I was just wide-eyed and nutso. But you know what I then figured out today? Which is the example of why you would add data to an existing dashboard? Well, let's see B and C. To show report names in a dashboard, to show account types in a dashboard. If you use these report results in a dashboard. Let's go with B and C. I don't know if that's true or not. What's the first step to add your data to a dashboard? Create a data set. Let's see if that works. Voila, we're done. If you've had any questions about that, put in the chat. And if you were able to do more than what we just talked about in the event monitoring, if you were able to do any of the event exercises and monitoring exercises, good for you. Put in the chat. Tell me if you've ever, like Patrick just said before we went live, please put in the comment if you've ever done that as an admin. Have you had any experience with that ever? Because I've talked to a dozen admins, not so the ELF browser never worked. Not fighting that animal anymore. Let's get on to today. So today is the first day of the rest of our lives. And we no longer have to deal with that until we come back and review it somewhat. Today's the 26th, 27th, rather. It's admin. What we're going to do is we're done with that. And now we're in the cloud application. And the cloud applications should be pretty quick. If you haven't completed these modules, we'll get to the one I haven't completed. But is that it? Yeah, that's it. So, matter of fact, I'm just going to put all these in here and just link all of it to the notes, and we'll just put new dates in when we get them. All right, look at that. So there's event monitoring. Good for you. Here we are. Today's 27th. We are in cloud applications. That's the way to say it in Spanish down there in Texas. So let's review some of this, but some of this stuff should be pretty doggone easy, right? Let me clean up my document a little bit. Replace all that junk. I got to get it out of the way. Go. Okay. All right. So the link, I need that. All right. Yeah, 8 hours, 30 minutes. Give me a break. Oops. I just taught a CRT class today for Service Cloud Consultant. It's great. Go do it. That's fantastic. Complete all your tasks. Here we go. Additional prep. We're not there yet. Additional resources. Not there. Don't need that. Don't need that. All right. All right. So here we go. I got you, buddy. I don't care. Tags I thought I got rid of. Process automation we're not concerned with. And then wait, get that out of there. Help article, hooray. Advanced forms we'll get to. All right, so there we go. Tags completed. All right, where are we at today? Let's get to where we are today. I'll clean up the document later. We'll add in what we need. Thanks for playing the game. Here's what we're going to do. Leads, opportunities. Let me close all this other stuff. We got this. Great. That I'll put over here. Anybody join us live, really live? That's awesome. Right now, it's just me watching. I love me watching. I'm done with that joker. And we are now into cloud applications. We'll start with leads as a review. Create and convert leads as potential customers. Work your opportunities, which means you've converted a lead and found a sales conversation, which is awesome. And do that. I'm going to put my 4 little modules in the notes so you guys have it in the notes. What happened there? Oh, I copied more than I needed to. So here we go. So create and convert leads as potential customers. Here are the learning objectives. So here's my study strategy is grab the learning objectives on each module and topic. I'm adding them to the doc. And why did it do that? Oh, it did that because that other thing. Add them to the doc. And let me take out the completed piece. That's out of there. So understand how leads fit into the sales process. Okay, let's talk about that. And here's how you study. So when you go and you've taken the module, completed the module, whatnot, the best thing to do now is to go through and say, okay, what do I know about how they fit? Well, leads, usually they can start the sales process. They've got limited info, like a business card, right? Some company, some personal or contact. They are to be qualified, right? They're not actually part of your sale, right? They're not worth, they're an expense, right? You got to qualify them. You got to find out, you got to gather enough info to know that they are a viable prospect. Sometimes in sales, we call them suspects, right? So they're a lead. They opted on your website. They talked to somebody. You got a business card at a networking meeting. Great. So you know the person's real, but you know the company's real. Do they do business in your state? Do you have a license? Do they have a Do they have a need? Are they out of business? Anything could be a lead because you know a little bit about them, but not enough. So it takes action and it's a process, which means it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Why did that? Right? So it's part of a process, right? It's a project. It's got to start. It's got to begin, middle, and an end result. And every lead should have an end result, and that the goal is conversion. If you don't meet your goal, you don't delete the lead, you continue to market to that lead in any way, shape, or form, and you keep that lead in your database. You just mark it as disqualified because maybe one day they'll become qualified, right? Maybe they're not qualified now, but later they can. What happens when you convert a lead? Well, and again, I'm only putting this on one line. What it creates account and contact records. It creates, or it could associate. So another thing is, or they already exist. The account may already exist, but the contact doesn't. Or the contact already exists, but the account doesn't. Or they change accounts, right? The contact moves to another account, so you might need to create one. Or updates. The opportunity are optional. Why are the opportunities optional? Well, you might not have opened up a sales conversation. You might have just found out that they're qualified. There are people there, but you didn't talk to them, right? You don't have a sales conversation. You just know that they're a business you can do business with. You found out what you need to do that work, right? And then create and convert leads, right? So that's add new. Manually, you can import leads from a source, a database, something like that, or they could opt in through part of your marketing or on your web, opt in, web, or they create themselves, if you will, right? So you create them, you import a bunch that you got from a list, and then, or they could create themselves out there, right? So, and then you work those leads, you can assign those leads. They can start a sales process. They can be assigned to a user or queue. They have auto assignment and response rules. And, it can be owned by a queue naturally. Yeah, let's see what else, let's see what it says, right? So, whoops. So we got create and convert. Understand how leads fit in the sales process. Understand what happens when you convert a lead, create and convert leads. So everybody gets leads. Not everybody calls them leads, but they should. If you're going to use leads, right? What is your alternative to using leads? The only alternative you have to using leads is the only other record that represents a human, and that is a contact, which means you got to have some account information in order to create the contact. So if you're in the kind of business where you don't meet people unless you know their business, great. Then what do you need to do? Well, you need to distinguish that contact or that account as a prospect, that you're still in the qualification phase or the engagement phase, depending on what you do, right? But they are the ways you track potential customers and companies. So if you don't use leads, and because you already have an existing database of companies and people that you do business with, but the people may come and go, but you know the companies you do business with, then you could just use opportunities and reach out to contacts and create and manage the contacts until you find somebody that has a conversation with you that you can just create an opportunity. That's fine. but there are advantages to using leads. You can track, report on your marketing efforts a little more clearly, and you can segment, which could be a vast, huge number of leads, and keep that out of your customer or account contacts, right? You don't need that huge amount to do that. So you have one big group of unqualified people all in one tab called leads versus having, a mix of qualified, unqualified, competitors, vendors, partners, employees, if you will, in your accounts and contacts. So if you can also separate leads by sales team, by sales process, by different acquisition methods, all those different things. So when you meet a lead, you create the lead in the org. You can create the lead any way you want. So that when you create a lead, it is, I'm going to close that. When you create a lead, it's like any other record, create a new one. There are only two things that are systemically required. You cannot change the requirement, and that is the last name and the company. So in order to add a lead, you do need minimal information. I will tell you this, that if you just know the person, you're going to put in, I'm going to put in Mr. David Plant, his company. If you don't know the company, but you have their mobile number, right? And I got David's mobile number. It is 413-867-5309. And the company is unknown. You got to put a value in there. Now, if you don't know the company, put unknown. Like have your users do unknown. Or if it's automated and you don't have a company, you have some automation you want to fill it in, then put to be determined in brackets. Why? So you know the difference of what was created. Who created it? Person with junk in there because they might not follow unknown, right? But you should have some type of information to contact that person. I know I'm just going to say David at his company.com. I know his email, just not going to post it on the internet, right? And put what information you know, but the minimal information is last name and company, and you can't change that. No, you can't change that. All right. So when a lead is going to now fall into a process. Now, I typically like, this is not my org that I usually use. I typically like leads to be separated from new and open, not contacted, working, contacted, closed, not converted, and converted. I think those are fine stages. I don't know that you need anything more than that, depending on your whole status of the way you do things. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to add new to leads because I wouldn't do it without new, because there are a couple of things about a lead that you have that are built in standard, right? You got this checkbox available to you on a lead called unread by owner. So a lead could be created by a manager, let's say, and assigned to Patrick. But and the manager may even be making activity calls. Who knows? Or somebody may have made calls on it. But when I assign a lead new to an owner, there's a checkbox that gets checked. And that checkbox is unread by owner, automatically checked, unread by owner. I'm going to add a new pick list value called new. And that gives me the ability, and you can decide whether it's a converted lead, a default status, assigned dynamically. Make this value the default for the master pick list. Yeah, I'm going to make that the default. Why not? Because any lead that's new should be new, should be treated as new. When it's an inbound call, you may change that different, but that's just what you do differently. Let me reorder these so that new comes first. And look, I honestly believe these are the only, well, what else would you need? I don't think you need much else, right? if a lead is new, it's brand new in the system. Once, here's the physicality of it. Once that lead, let's say I give this lead, I don't like the way this is laid out, but let's say, do I have any other owners in my org or a queue? I got Linda Herman. Let's see if Linda can take this lead, right? I've just, okay, who else do I have? I don't have any other users. Remember, this is just my demo org. Let's see what many users I got. So I'm gonna give Linda, oh yeah, she's got that was used for something else. I'm gonna give her, oops, a different profile, sales profile, custom sales profile. That should give her access to the lead. So now I'm going to choose Linda, hit save. Now she owns the lead. Well, check this out. In the leads, there's a list view. It's called today's leads. It's not today's lead. There's David Plant. See that unread by owner? So now, even though I don't own the lead, Linda does. I know she hasn't opened it yet. She hasn't looked at that lead. And while it's new, I've opened it, but I'm not the owner, right? So I could say that it's new. I could say that it's open, not contact. Like say I checked the numbers, they all work, blah, blah, and I gave it to her. Yet still in that list view, I could tell if Linda's read it or not. And I could create a list view. Let me clone this list view for a second. And I'm going to go Linda's unread, unopened, unread leads. It's a way that I can manage that. So what do I need to do? Well, I'm going to change my filters. Create data doesn't matter to me today, but I've got this filter called unread by owner. And if that is true, I can look at all my leads that are unread by owner and say, wow. Now, if I just want to filter for Linda, then I could say the lead owner, which is owner. So owner, first name equals Linda. Now this, it's fine. I could say, yeah, so here we go, right? So now I know when I look at, whoops, Linda? What's her Linda name? Lynda. My goodness. Computers are obedient, which means they only do exactly as they're told, unlike you people. Humans don't always do that, right? So here's my owner. There's my lead. So if I assigned a bunch of leads, if I look at a bunch of leads and I want to change the owner to Linda, let's say I give Linda all the leads. Let's just say minus 2 of them. I'm keeping a couple, right? Then I could change the owner and I can literally manage Linda and her response time to say, hey, Linda, I gave you 20 leads the other day. Oh yeah, I checked them out. Did you? That's funny because you haven't opened them yet. How did you check them out? Linda, how did you check them out? Right? Those are the leads. And they're all, for her, I could say they're all, let's see. I'm going to call them all open, not contacted by Linda. If I want to do it that way. Let's see if I want to. I don't want to do the close ones. So let's take those out. Well, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I just want Linda to contact them. And I'm going to say, hey, some of these have been contacted, some have not. They're all open. not contacted. I'm reopening all these leads. I want your take on them, Linda. These 20 leads, it's up to you to tell me what their new status is, right? So they're not new. They may have activity on it from other people, but Linda hasn't read them yet. So that's the cool thing about leads. You can't do that with contacts. So if you choose not to use leads, you lose that feature. Choice, right? So there's your thing, right? What else? So what is the process? When a lead comes in and you convert it, it creates those 3 business records: the account, the contact, and potentially the opportunity. Oh, I found my new favorite annotation tool. I never tried it until today, right? So a lead turns into a business account, a business contact, and maybe an opportunity. So all it's saying is that I can now have records I could do business with. Does it mean it means they're qualified? Do I always open opportunity? It's a choice. And if it's an individual customer and you're using person accounts, remember what all a person account does is combine the account information and the contact information into one record. And then when you convert a lead, when I take one of my leads, and I convert that lead, oh my goodness. We convert them. A couple things happen. It allows me to use the existing account name or choose an existing one. Look, there's already one there. Let's use that. I can use the current contact, or I can find out, is there Andy Young already exists? Yep, he does. Look at that. And then I can choose update lead source because I'm, adding that. And what about the contact? Yeah, nothing there. And then, do I want an opportunity or not? Did I crack open a conversation? Because look, when you enter a lead, he could have been entered a lot of ways. He could have filled out a web form, right? And he's already got an opportunity with mobile generators. No, he doesn't want mobile generators. He wants diesel. And I could create a new opportunity. And all of the only record I'm really creating is an opportunity. But I converted the lead. So a lot of people in some companies would just ignore the lead and say, oh, he's already there. Let me just go create an opportunity. Well, you sloppy son. Why don't you do everybody a favor and convert that lead so that, that lead no longer exists, right? That lead gets hidden. So when I go to my open leads, my unread leads, let's say, that is no longer 3, it's 2. That's going to happen a lot. Your contacts are going to fill out web forms and apply to other things. And they're going to become leads again, unless you add some type of automation that does a search and a find and all that kind of stuff. Try to do it, but they're still going to do it. They're going to change email addresses. You're going to discover when you talk to them, like, oh, they're going to tell you. Salesforce, every time I fill out for something that Salesforce is offering through their website or their promotional materials or educational materials, a lead gets created. And within 2 days, I get a call from a sales development rep, newly hired by Salesforce, to which I have to say, yeah, I'm a partner with Salesforce. I'm not buying anything. I'm just getting information. I had to opt in to do it. And if Salesforce would have done you any favors, you would have seen all the duplicate leads that I belong to. And maybe you could convert my lead instead of leaving it there, because sometimes people call me back. Salesforce, sales managers, come on, clean your data. Put some automation in Salesforce. Develop something that says, hey, that email address is already a customer. They're already a partner. They're already all the things that they already are. Because I'm all of that. You find my email address, all of them. Use all of them. Keep the data clean. That's what leads are for, right? So that's what you do. You qualify a lead to determine if you could do business with that lead. And then if there's an opportunity for a sales conversation to maybe sell them something, right? Now you go through how to use opportunities, how to create an opportunity, and how to add contact roles to an opportunity. So here I am building out my notes page for you guys.
Hey, Dominic.
Yeah, question.
Something that I don't think Salesforce highlights as much as they should is when you convert a lead and create an opportunity, that contact is automatically added as a contact role.
That's correct. So when I go to my new, when I go back to my accounts, like, well, I'm sorry, my opportunities, right? The diesel generator one, that contact role, is that what you were talking about, Patrick? Because I know you got some that contact that was the lead automatically adds, Salesforce automatically adds, hey, they're a role in this opportunity. Automatically. You can't not have it happen. Does that help you or hurt you? Well, it depends. Is that person part of this conversation? Or do you just convert the lead and you talk to somebody else and you didn't add it? So sloppy lead converter will say, well, yeah, I wasn't Andy I talked to, it was Bob, but I'll get to Bob later. And you never get back to it later. You're always a jerk and you leave it there. And then Andy gets messages because your admin's clever, is taking my sales operations courses. And Andy gets communications about his opportunity as it progresses, and he doesn't know what's going on if he's not playing a role in the opportunity. So opportunity is a conversation that reflects the beginning, middle, and end of a conversation for a sale. It's the only place you can make money in Salesforce. Now, I don't like starting it with prospecting because it sounds like it's a lead. Well, maybe it is a lead for now. You know, maybe it's just a brand new opportunity. So starting in prospecting is where we got to start. But here's the thing. And what I do like about the path, or at least the stages that come standard in this org, is that prospecting indicates behavior. So sometimes you create an opportunity because you have an idea in your head that I could sell something. Sometimes you have an opportunity because you talk to somebody and they said, yeah, we want to buy, or we're in the market for that. And they go, great. And you create an opportunity to track that conversation. Either way. So like if you've already talked to Andy, then you can say, you know what? I've already met all of the qualification, all of the information. That's why I converted Andy into this opportunity, because he's already qualified. He's got budget, authority, need, or a timeline, otherwise known as known timeline. So you can bank that this is a live conversation with a potential prospect. Oh, we're doing Ohana Piers again. I'm not sure if I'm ready to do that, but I just got an email about it, so I might, because I just saw it. Now I can think about it. So what do they want you to do on your opportunities? Describe how to use them, create one, and add a contact roles. So opportunities as deals, or a deal in progress. I hate the word deal because it has a negative connotation in the world. It is a conversation. That's what it is. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a project. It's got a start and an end. It's got a conclusion. And that conclusion should happen as the close date approaches. You should be gathering more and more information. So really, it's also a SMART goal, right? You got something specific, measurable, it's actionable along the way, it's relevant, and it's time bound, right? It's part of how you earn money as a company or as a salesperson. And it works in stages. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Hey, I'm prospecting your company. You seem to fit the qualifications. Can I ask you a few questions? Boom, boom, boom. I gather information. And now I can say, yeah, can we have a discovery call? Blah, blah. I'm going to take actions based on the information I have at each stage of the process. And I just talked to the customer service consultant review for certification days. And it's the same with anything else. If there are metrics that determine what are the what is the data that I would expect to have on this record at this stage, right? That the blanks will drive the behavior. So, hey, I need to know they're qualified. They're a real company. What does it take? It takes their, I might have to say, hey, I don't know if I have any business with it. I'm going to say, let me just look for a second real quick. Yeah, I lost my changes. Do I have any other opportunities with this company? I do have another opportunity. They're not sold yet, right? But I'm now trying to sell diesel, which is different than mobile generators. I'm having a different conversation. Different people will be involved. Different budgets might be affected. The budgets, the authority, the need, and the known timeline. If you're going to put that in the bank, you need to know those things. So now I need to collect data on the qualification. So again, this is a new business. I don't have a lot, but this, I'm going to call it new customer. Haven't done business with them yet. It created a close date at the end of the quarter. Notice that today is July 26th, 27th, and it created a close date for the end of September. Why did it pick that date? Because up until September 30th, when you convert a lead, the last day of the quarter that you're in will be the close date that's automatically added. Why? Because it's a required field. It's got to have something in there. It's got to have some kind of logic. So I'm in the qualification stage. What do I need to fill out? What information do I need to gather? Well, in order to do a needs analysis, the next thing I do is a needs analysis. Maybe my requirement is to say, hey, you know what? I need to schedule a discovery call so I can do a needs analysis. I can have a conversation with Andy. Andy, so everything I do in the qualification phase is about scheduling or completing a discovery call. So when the discovery call is complete, I'm ready to move into needs analysis. I've already collected everything I need to needs analysis. Or you might say, you know what? Once I've scheduled the discovery call, right? So I'm going to create a new event. I just got the phone with Andy, and we're going to do our disco call. And that's going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m., let's say. And then it's going to be with Andy, but maybe Andy's accountant is also going to show up. I don't know, but that's who it's for, right? Can I add anybody else? No, I can't anybody else. Okay. My location is going to be my Zoom. That's my vanity Zoom number. So I open appointment Zoom number. Hop in on that one. I will kick you out immediately. Okay. So there's my disco call. It's scheduled tomorrow. Nothing for me to do. Once I complete that call, on that call, if I've gathered all the information in some form or some way that I know now, that's part of what I know now. I can go do a needs analysis. Maybe needs analysis doesn't even require interaction with the customer. Maybe once I'm complete with that appointment, right? Once that date and time passes and I had the appointment with Andy, so let me edit it for a second and say that happened today, right? So I'm going to say, whoops. Hey, you know what? That happened on Tuesday. And now I'm done with that. I've collected my data. Whether you collected it in Salesforce or not, it's another story. I hope you collected it in Salesforce. But let me go back to my opportunity to say, okay, that's now in the past. And because I conducted that activity already as part of our process, right? That happened yesterday. It's in the past. There's nothing in the future. And I'm going to do a new test. Create a new task. It says complete. Right. And I'm going to say that's due date is going to be, that's going to be Friday. I told Andy I'd get it back to him Friday. I don't have to add it to Andy if I don't want to. So that's because that's a me task. I don't have to include him on that. But notice in the past, I had the call. In the future, I've got to complete that needs analysis. And now I know that the qualification stage is complete and I'm in the needs analysis stage. So needs analysis might be, I do all my needs. I end the needs analysis with a request to set up a demo, right? Right. And say, look, let's do a quick demo to show you, to confirm, or a confirmation call or something like that. So once I complete that task of completing his needs analysis that I got from the disco call yesterday, I might complete that task and say, all right, I need to, I already know I need to call Andy and schedule our value proposition. Hey, Andy, here's what I discovered from our call. This is how I would say that this, and this would be a result of using our products and services. Right. So I might not even need to create a task for that, because I know when I look at all of my open opportunities, I don't have a good list view for it. Let's see if this my opportunities works. We'll try to create a quick list view, right? Let's just say I'm looking at my opportunities in the Kanban stage, Kanban, whichever one you want to do it as. I know that all of my needs analysis, right? That whatever day they're planning on closing, that one's in the past, so we know we got to fix that, right? Back to anyway, I'm not gonna fix it yet. That I know the next thing for me to do while it's in this stage is schedule an appointment. Because once I've got the appointment scheduled, I move it to the next stage. So if I go back to, and I talked to Andy, he says, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do a NA overview demo, and that's going to be on Monday, the 1st of August. And we like the same time. And I am going to invite Andy to that one. And Andy says, that's great. And again, I'm going to put my throw that bad boy on there. So he's got everything he needs, right? Well, even if I forget to update the stage, the value prop, I might have a list view that says, hey, no, you can't do a list view for that, right? But when I'm looking at my list views, my open opportunity pipeline, I can, what's in there? What's in that filter? Greater or equal to the last 3 months. What did I use before? My opportunities. I don't want any other filter, right? So I might say, oh, you know what? I just scheduled that call with Andy. Let me move him to value proposition. Because I'm now in the behavior of proposing the value. And then once he sees the value, then he might give me the identified decision maker. So I'm complete with that. I can move and say, you know what? He's told me we just had that appointment. He called me back and said, can we do it today? And I might have some additional, we've identified 3 decision makers, 3 people, 3 influencers and 1 decision maker, right? Those would be contact roles. So I want to add a contact role, whatever those contacts are. And I don't think there's any other, but it could be any. Josh Davis might be somebody. Ann, Amy. Well, No Sue. And Frank, let's call her, she's from Gene Point, right? So I'm adding these people as roles. Well, even if they don't work at the company, they can still have a role. They could be an evaluator. Maybe Edna Frank is she is a consultant. She works for Gene Point, but she's an influencer, right? And Andy's still my primary contact. I'm going to assume that the primary contact is a decision maker, but he's my primary contact. I don't know if he's a decision maker or not. So now I'm ready, right? We're identifying decision makers. And let's say this happened today. And it gives me the behavior. What do I need to do now? I've identified the decision makers. Now we need to schedule that. I've talked to him about it. He's enrolled. We got decision makers. So now I need to schedule that appointment with him. Let me go to my date here and say that was today. And now we go back to the opportunity and say, all right. Now I've identified the decision makers. I need to add another task called, update something, whatever I need to do, right? So I'm moving the conversation along in the process and I'm gathering the data. So maybe now we did the value proposition and Andy, I actually honed in on some products. So now I could choose the price book if I have it set up, standard. Now I can add price books if you know about these things, right? So all your products are in one table. And there's my diesel, there's my diesel. And, I'm going to add now quantity. They might want 2 of these and 7 of those because we did a needs analysis. You could add a date if there's a date that they need one of the, a couple of different, we're not going to get deep into it, but you could actually schedule. This was a conversation where they're going to buy 2 of these $100,000 generators, but it's only going to be, one a month, one every 6 months. They're going to buy one in 3 months. And so I know that's July, August, September. So they probably won't buy one until October 14th. They won't make a decision. And I can say whatever I want to say on it. And then little ones, they're going to buy those by the end of September. All of them, right? So it's a good starting point, but there are ways to schedule that out. We haven't set it up. So this is how you work the opportunities. You add, look what happened to my amount. It automatically changed to 375. Why? Because I added quantity, product, quantity, and the price book determined the prices of that. Right? So, and I've got contact roles that I'm working with. Are there any partners that I'm working with? Is there a team of people that I'm working with as an opportunity team? We'll talk about this, right? So if I don't have a default team, then I've got to add my opportunity team members. And this might be, what role are they playing? So you pick a role. Maybe I've got a pre-sales consultant that's going to join me. I've got a sales manager because it's over 200,000. I need a sales manager to be with me. And I need the account manager, that maybe the account owner is different, right? So I got to pick those users and I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to take, I only got Linda. I'm doing the role of pre-sales consultant. If that's true, as opposed to picking somebody else, but if you always have to have a pre-sales consultant, but you did the work, who are you going to communicate to? Your boss can say, where's the pre-sales consultant in this deal? Like, oh, I did it myself. Well, how would I know that? Because you didn't list a pre-sales engineer, or because you did and you assign it to yourself? What's more clear? I would say that if a pre-sales engineer is required, a pre-sales consultant is required, and you did it, why not reflect that? Yes, you're the owner of the opportunity. But if having that role in your company is required, then why not communicate that that you did it. That's clarity. All right, so that's working the opportunities. So you work the stages until you add contact roles, you add your activities, and you complete that. And that's how you work your opportunities. And I'm working to 7 o'clock. And then remember, I just added the team, which was splitting as a team. So when do you use opportunity teams and account teams? When you need them. And what does that mean? It means you either need them for access because you have a private or hybrid security model, or you need them for accountability, to just let people know, even if it's yourself, I'm doing this role, right? I'm doing this. Somebody knows. You could also use it to apply revenue splits, which is a whole different thing. You can enable opportunity splits. If opportunity members get to taste the profits of what you did, that's fine. Let's see, you could do opportunity splits. We got to set that setting. We're not doing that. But there it is. So again, accountability and accessibility. And then look and see how we can visualize what we're doing. And we can, when we update a record stage or status using the path, we can update it using the Kanban view. Right? So all of that's useful stuff. So that's all of the learning objectives and working opportunities. And because this was a short day, because I taught an earlier class and then I got other stuff to do, we're going to pretty much wrap up this live session. But I think you get the idea of, what this topic is all about. If you're not convinced or, whoops, these are the things I already know. Right? So those are the notes I put in. Right? So there's my 3 learning objectives, and there's what I know. Oops. Did I get that right? All right. So let's see what the learning objectives are. Create and convert leads. Understand what happens when you convert a lead. Understand how leads fit into the sales process. Oh, there it is. Create and convert leads. Oops. There we go. All right. And last but not least, the last thing that I'll talk about before I end is, so the path, the Kanban, all those things are built in, and we didn't activate the path yet. I think we probably will. But the path not only, so this is not an activated path, right? It's just the stages in a path lookalike. For me to activate the path, I need to go into my path settings. I need to enable path. Then I create a new path. And I'm just going to call it B2B sales. I don't know if that's right in this org. I'm just going to call it B2B sales. It's going to be on my opportunity object. Let's see if I have record types yet. I don't know. So I don't really have any record types. So that's fine. But I'm still going to call it that because one day I may change it. I'm going to use stage to do the path. Then you select, what are those 5 fields that say you've done prospected them? And give some guidance for success about what do they need to do? What are the behaviors they need to do? So remember, think of each stage in a process like an escape room. You got to collect certain clues. And in path, you only have 5 fields that you can add. So you can't add all the fields. So in here, you may say, look, I just need to know the account name. I need to know if I might need to know their lead source. I might want to know their competitors or my main competitors for somebody like this, given the kind of products I sell. My stage and the type of opportunity that it is, right? I might not even need stage, but I could put it, it's just there. You don't really need it. I'm not going to put something you don't need, right? We go primary campaign source, take competitors out, just maybe too soon to know. You don't know the products yet, so you don't know the competitors. Maybe the currency, what currency they do business with. I want to make sure they do business in a currency they do business in rubles. I'm not going to do business with them, right? So collect that information before you move to qualification. And then qualification, what are you going to collect? Can I add any more? Let's see. Maybe the opportunity name. Oh, only 5, right? So only 5 are still allowed. Maybe you don't need that. Maybe you want to update the opportunity name. That's fair. Make sure that you got a good opportunity name from whoever could, because maybe somebody else converted the lead, right? All good. And you do that for each of the stages. What is the data I need to collect? And then tell the user why you're collecting it. Then each needs analysis, value prop, ID, perception, proposal, negotiation. And oh, by the way, now you can let users adjust the percentage probability when they're in the negotiation stage. Why? Because now they know all the other percentage probabilities should be considered completion status. How much of the process am I complete? Negotiation is when you get a feel and feedback about where you're actually living in the deal. Don't let your users do anything different. It's crazy. Boom. I'm going to do that. I'm going to enable the path. I'm going to activate it. Yeah, I'm going to do celebrations anytime. Identify decision makers, and I get a negotiation, and of course, won or lost, and I can do often so that I get confetti at those when I change to those stages, which I'm going to change one now. You can get a little confetti, a little reinforcement, a little brain candy. And of course, start with always. If you're activating the path for the first time, start with always for those considerations, and then bring it back to rarely, sometimes, and then just put on your calendar as an admin. And then, after a month, because people get annoyed, then after a month, make it rarely, because then they'll want it. They're like, oh, there it is. I thought it went away. Didn't go away. How awesome is that? So now I'm in negotiation, right? Instead, I do everything else. I got all the products, the price books and everything. I've got a good needs analysis done. I'm confirming, I'm having conversations with decision makers, all that kind of stuff. Bam. So that's how leads and opportunities work for the Lightning experience. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys leads and opportunities. I'm going to put that in the YouTube title. Maybe, because I got that far. And that's really it. That's where we're going. So, yeah. Hey, Raul. Hey, welcome back, Raul. Sorry, I missed that chat. I had something covering it. Remember, Raul, if you want to attend the sessions, send me an. Did you already do it and I forgot to add you to the session? Don't put your email in the chat. Just don't do that. Send me an email to support@salesandtechnology.com. That'll create a case and that'll remind me to do it, because I clearly didn't do it right the last time. But thanks for being here. We're going to end it now because I got another meeting and I got to take a break and I got to go eat dinner, and then we're going to go from there. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Raul, for being here. You're the man again. And, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Just subscribe. Let's see where we're at. I don't know where we're at now, but I'm going to stop.